Woo!
Is that better?
Oh yeah, you're taller.
Well, no, I'm shorter than I was.
Yes. Yes.
But I think, I don't know, if it close, can move back a little bit. So my what's it called? My carreta is behind me, so I can't back up too much. But I wanted
the cute little cart.
Yeah, the cart. It's got stuff on it, but it's
Oh,
there.
so cute.
So I can scoot back until I hit the cart. Oh, there we go. That's the. You can see my.
You've got a little peacock chair. You've got, I see, candlesticks. Look at all the goodies.
It's all blue and whites and stuff.
For.
Hi,
Joyce.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Angela. I love your
Joyce and Sheila and Shelly.
What's that?
Joyce and Sheila and Shelly.
Oh, and now I see Shelly's here and Sheila. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, right back.
Locations. You can see Lionel's right there. You can see the top of his head there.
Oh, I can't.
I think what I need to do is make the computer taller.
Yeah, like
that would be
a taller table or something.
Or I could just stick it on a box.
Do you have a tall box?
Yeah. Just give me 1 second.
Oh.
See, because I couldn't test this until I got on, and then it was all right, we're gonna make this.
I don't mind waiting for a little adjustment, especially if it gets me closer to that lion head, because I don't mind taking
it's blocked by an astrolabe here.
Okay.
A little bit, but
I only can see the top of it.
Okay. Here we go. Going for a ride.
We're going for a ride.
Okay. Now you can see. You can see most of me.
Oh yeah. That's great. Excellent.
Come a little closer. There you go.
Yes, Joyce. I saw most of Ariana's unboxing. I stopped at the postcards, but I saw all the little jewelry box that she unveiled with the goodies inside and the book.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, is to buy a big box full of stuff and not open it.
Oh man. I've been trying not to buy things. So for Mystery Monday tonight, I was like, what am I going to open? And then I found something to open. But
yeah. Well, I was trying not to buy things too until yesterday, Angela.
I didn't know if you'd be there.
You did it.
My fault.
I was just like, oh my God.
You know, I saw that person, I had to have it, and I was like, They're both so good.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah. On Angela's sale yesterday, she had 2 bags, a beautiful glass beaded pouch sack style, and a steel mesh one. And I caved on the steel mesh. I caved.
I mean, I was real close to not selling it. But I'm glad that you got it.
Oh, Sheila, did you? Oh, yeah. It's so good, right?
There it is. Yeah.
I couldn't resist. Too tempting.
I mean, that's our job, right? Tempting people.
I know. You're right. I mean, kudos to you. But
Look at my computer before it dies. All right, there we go. Sheila's
Oh,
still
I
available.
know. Yeah, Joyce was saying, she says, I never come across treasures like that. I will come across them, but within the glass case, already, curated. I don't really come across too many. I've never
That exact purse is listed on eBay for $98.
I believe it. I believe it.
You know. Jan, hello. How is everybody doing on this Monday? Like, it was a very weird Monday for me.
Really? What happened to you?
It's just normal work stuff.
Regular weird?
Regular weird. Only the weird is getting weirder because the semester approaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. More things get thrown at you when like I wasn't planning on that today.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I have deadlines I need to meet. I can't take care of
Yeah.
A, B, C through J as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really normally I might go thrifting or I might watch YouTubes on Monday, but I was working on my history highlight because I was watching TV all day yesterday.
You pulled an Angela.
Yes. Yes, I was a little tardy on my homework.
Yeah, but you got it to be like before noon.
Well, I was working on it all morning. I think I made like one typo. I don't know. But I'll do my best. It'll go all right. Oh yeah, overwhelming days.
The way this computer is lit makes my eyes look very blue.
That's good. And you've got all the blue behind
they
you.
are blue. So it's just that blue light,
So I know we have a lot to go through. Do you
we
want
do
to start?
because I went overboard for a couple things. So I only did one collection and one media in order to try and
balance
it, but we can go ahead and dive in.
So let's see. Add to stream. Are we going to start with collections? And this one is definitely you.
Yeah. So I had somebody ask me, they're like, what do you start with? If you want to start collecting or you want to start a collection, what should you start with? And I was like, candlesticks. And they're like, why? I was like, because they're so available in all kinds, and you could go all clear glass and then use it for any number of things, like this festive display here on the left, or on the shelf on the right, they're just all different. But it all works together. And then she's got all different color candles in there. She's got 2 little deer busts in there. I wish I could zoom it for y'all, but
oh, I didn't notice the deer busts. I see them now.
They're cute, little quirky little deer busts, in suits. Super cute. And it just kind of goes with the shabby chic vibe she has there. And then I just kept going because once I started finding pictures, I found a bunch. This one on the left, this is her greenhouse. And she's like, I've had these candlesticks in a box. I'm putting them in the greenhouse. And they just provide a nice little architectural, interest up on that shelf. And then the one on the right, I was like, you could go all brass.
Yeah.
You go all brass. And then,
I like that you picked all brass with the multicolored candles, because that's something I don't see as often.
No.
The multicolored.
Well, and I kind of like that there's a random silver one thrown in there. Because,
Yeah.
But I love brass. I just always have. It's not, I don't want brass fixtures in my bathroom or anything, but I love brass objects. And candlesticks, especially. I guess as you can see, I've got 2 brass candlesticks up here. Just providing some height and symmetry, but so that would be my Like if you want something that would be a lot of impact and functional, like they're absolutely functional, because some of them you can use them as risers, use them as intended for candlesticks, but just their, pure architectural quality, I like them.
It's true. And I will say that I am a sucker for a candlestick. I mean,
I was thinking of your barley twist when
I've got, yeah, and it doesn't stop there. It's not just those wooden ones. I've got some brass ones in the bookcase. I got the crystal ones back here, and I'm really, I'm looking more for the crystal ones that have the crystals,
yeah, like the
things, the crystals,
yeah,
hanging crystals. I like those, and they're actually not as well at estate sales. I'm not finding them. I'm sure I could find them at an antique store, but I've been keeping my eye out at the estate sales. My list keeps getting bigger of what I want to keep my eye out for, and then I keep picking up random things, and then the list keeps getting bigger. Have you noticed? Have you ever done that?
Sheila, I added my architectural interest. This mantle came from Facebook Marketplace because my house didn't have anything like that. The closest thing it does have this built-in over here. See, there's 2 doors and then 2 doors there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't display stuff in that. It holds a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of my holiday switch out stuff in there, and games. Lots of board games in there, but yeah, I've had to add the shelving.
I ever did was adding my antique mantle, with no fireplace. Best thing I ever did for that room.
Okay.
I love it.
So your collection. Oh, I like this.
Isn't that cool? I just
don't hang them in direct sunlight.
I found yes, I found one picture of it, but I fell in love with it, and now another thing that is going to go on the darn list because I love this. I like the fact that they're all hanging, upside down on the little cord. It's like the opposite of the hand mirror wall, where it'd be going the other way, but instead it's the magnifying glass. And you could do, I know a lot of really cool crafty people could probably do some cool things with the decoupage, and sometimes, I think I've seen people paint like in spoons and other things the eyeball, and I was thinking like if someone wanted to reverse paint, they could reverse paint an eyeballs in these or do cool things. But I actually like it just like that.
It's very cool.
The handles, you could just get, try to collect a variety of different.
Somebody wrote very cool collections.
Yes. Yes.
We concur.
We do. We definitely concur.
Even. Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes. Same choice.
Basis.
Oh. Your media is next.
Yes. Okay, that's me. I do not know this gal's name. It's actually been a while since I watched her, but I still wanted to share her because I don't actually really, what do they call it? Junk journal. But I have watched this channel, The Paper Outpost, and I really enjoy the way she works and the way she talks to you while she works. And she has a lot of, I put one at the bottom where it says easy, no, so junk journal. If you go to her website and put things like easy in there, she has a lot of really fun projects for someone like me who isn't going to take the time to.
Joyce says her name is Pamela.
Thank you, Joyce. I really like this gal. So Pamela, she will do a lot of shorter videos where she'll make little booklets out of envelopes or small little projects, which are definitely you could do in a day. And she really, all of the paper workers do this, but the way she just talks and works, and she's not very fussy. She's very, however it turns out is how it turns out. it's very no stress, no real,
Yeah.
expectations. Just enjoy yourself.
Hey,
And she really has made me appreciate um, saving paper that maybe I wouldn't save. Like things like old receipts and old notebook pages. Just she saves everything and tries to recreate it, and repurpose it. And I don't know, she's good. I recommend if you ever want to dip a toe in. I really like her
See,
channel.
I think I would enjoy it, and that's the problem.
Well, that's why. That's why. That's why.
I don't
That's
have
why.
the time.
Right, but that's why I just type in the easy ones, or if you put like type in easy and see if you can find the short ones, because she does really big ones too.
Maybe in the winter time after craft show season. Maybe.
Yeah, but there's some very doable things in here, where she does ones where you sew, she does ones where you don't sew. She does where you some, where you can use just tape and glue and things like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, Sheila, just use what you have. Which, Sheila, like in your bay window, would it be possible to like put a shelf like at the top that the cats couldn't find a way to climb to for your swung vases?
Man, some cats when they're young, they see a shelf and they find a way.
I am glad. So Malcolm is the one who likes to climb up on things. The highest that Mitzi gets is the back of the couch, and I'm thankful about that because Malcolm is getting older, and therefore jumping is not in his favorite things to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm mostly safe. Then when I first put this up, he was up there before I had stuff on it, and I was like, "That is not gonna happen."
Yeah, and sometimes
Once
it's
I put
easier.
stuff up there, and it wasn't easy for him to find footholds. Then
right, and sometimes it's not easy for them to get down. Like they can get up there and they wiggle in there, and then they can't figure out how to turn around, or they can't figure out how to get down.
Yeah, I've got 2 cat condos in my back window, and that's why the one plant I have in this house is dying, because the only window that gets a lot of sunlight is not. No, they're not. Yeah. They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
I'm feeling especially happy about cats right now because like Malcolm's meds are working, and today he used to like jump up and lay on my legs. Like my parents had a recliner, right? And so after work or whatever, I would sit in the recliner, put my feet up, and if he was allowed to come upstairs, he would just come and like lay right in between my shins.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't done that since the move because he was not happy with me at all. And so Mitzi has started on like laying on my stomach or on my chest. And today I started a load of laundry. I sat down, I put my legs up. Malcolm jumped up and laid in his old position. And Mitzi came by and she was like, "What is happening?" And she like she was down on the floor looking up. She's like, "But I lay on you at this time of day. What is happening?" And so she jumps up, and I was ready to bleed because I know what happens when they get too close to each other. She just curls up right behind him on my stomach with their bums touching each other. And they laid there for almost an hour until I had to sit up for Mystery Monday.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I almost cried.
It's like I am not going to move an inch.
I know. I was like, no, I got onto Helen's StreamYard and I was laying down. I was like, I'm gonna stay here until the last possible minute because I don't want to disturb her. But then as soon as I started talking, Mitzi was like, "You're moving too much," and she got down. And then they didn't just tolerate each other. They were both purring and fell asleep.
That is great.
While right next to it, there's a picture on my personal Instagram because I have to document this. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's
yeah.
great.
The like they both had separation anxiety when I went back to work. So my media must, if you haven't watched it, is Blown Away on Netflix. It just has a new season. It's a competition show. So if you don't like, competition reality shows, this isn't for you. But if you like learning the technical aspects of blowing glass, like, you'll hear things like Latticino or whatever, but you can like see them do it and they explain how it happens, and you learn a lot of technical terms. Plus, you just get to see them make really awesome glass.
Yeah, I saw I think season 1. I don't know if I've seen season 2.
I haven't watched the newest season. I did watch. They had a Christmas one.
I don't think I saw that either.
But this is the newest.
Do you know?
Season 3 is the newest one.
Do you remember if they show how to swing glass? Because Mr. Agenda this morning or yesterday morning asked me what is swung glass, or how do they do it? And I said, oh, well, they like put it in a mold
and then they swing it.
And they swing it like this. And I said, I bet they have it on YouTube. So I looked on YouTube. I couldn't find any example of someone swinging glass to make it.
I think they do like swing it. Like you'll see them like blow on their poncho and they'll like tip it upside down and move it. So they're not blowing into like molds.
Yeah.
Like a traditional swung glass vase. Which, have you ever seen an unswung vase? Like you would never know one leads to the other, because
Really?
One of the glass groups I'm in, they had an unswung like Fenton fine rib.
Mm-hmm.
And the glass is real thick and it looks like a heavy tumbler. And you're like, well, that turns into that. That's crazy. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. I'll look. I bet I can find you a.
Are those supposed to be sausages on the picture on the right?
So I'm pretty sure that's the installation from the winner of the first season.
Okay.
I think she was like one of the only women in that season.
Man, I don't remember. I know I did see the first one, but I don't remember. It's been a while.
Because glass blowing is apparently a sausage fest. You know what I mean? The that was her take on it, because she's has always been these largely men in the hot box is what they call a glass blowing room. But so I'm giving away the first one, but but there's all the different challenges that they do are very interesting, so I recommend.
Good recommend.
Okay. Inspiring.
Okay. Inspiring interiors. I picked 2 pictures with banquettes. Just because, why not? And I like this one in the little corner, where the stairs obviously lead up, because I liked it. And I do appreciate a good custom upholstery where they match the fabric. That's a sign of a good upholsterer.
And an expensive one.
And yes, where you pay for the expensive matching of the pattern. And so I had a great appreciation for the fabric matching on this one. And then the next one is another banquette, which is really pretty.
It's basically a sofa.
Well, it is a little deeper than most of them. Yeah. But I don't know. I just liked the idea. I like the idea of, kind of like using it in a multi-purpose room where, it could, you could scoot the table over for extra seating. It looks like there's like a game table on the left.
We had a banquette in the kitchen growing up.
Uh-huh.
Like with the, Formica top table, and then you had like the loser had to scoot in first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a little short end and then a longer one.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think I like the idea of the banquette where you don't necessarily have to always have like a table in front of it, I guess is the idea. It's kind of it's a space saver, yet it offers like a cozy corner, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like a cozy corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
This is long. Okay, I'm just gonna warn you now.
Let's dig in.
Okay, so this lady on the left, this is the lady who built this house and filled it. Her name is Isabella Stewart Gardner. This is in Boston.
This is a portrait of her. This is a beautiful portrait.
So she was a patron of the arts in the late 1800s. She was friends with John Singer Sargent, plus other ones. So she's in Venice, which, you know, if you're looking at this, she was in Venice with friends. One of those friends was an artist, and she went out and looked at the fireworks, and she came back in. She's, you have to see this. It's beautiful. And her friend, Anders Zorn, I believe was his name, is who painted this. Wow. And this painting is in the house. So, beautiful. So it's funny that you should mention Chihuly art glass, because there's a Chihuly installation in this building. But I didn't put a picture of that. So the outside looks largely unassuming. She and her husband was very wealthy. They traveled, they collected, and they always talked about building a place purely, well, to live in and to house their collections. Hey, Colleen. And so actually he passed away, but she still had this place built, and it was called Fenway Place, but now people just call it the Gardner Museum. And the interior.
Oh my God.
So you enter into like the modern annex, and then you walk through this tunnel, which brings you out onto this like colonnade. And then it's an Italian palace inside.
I've got full body chills.
Right.
No lie. I'm literally like,
it's so gorgeous. And there's no modern lighting in this. So like you don't like, they haven't like fully wired it, because they want you to see what it looks like through all natural lights of the day. So like I did spend almost an entire day in this museum, because you'll see why. But that, like, I just sat here, like, after I did a preliminary tour. They have a cafe, so I ate in the cafe, and then I came back and just sat here and just looking at it and listening to it. Stunning.
It is.
But then there are 3 floors full of her collections. And I mean, I love my collections, but they are nowhere near. This is what I aspire to, y'all. This is why this is inspiring interiors. Like, I could live here. I'm just saying. It's a museum now, but I could live here. So here are 4 small rooms.
Oh, wow.
The upper left is just one of the sitting rooms, and those are all famous painters on the walls there. The red room in the upper right has like Titian and some other big names. And through that doorway is what's here on the bottom left, and that's the chapel. And that stained glass came from somewhere in France, and as did like the chapel interiors. And then you can't see, but behind is like cabinets full of just all these amazing things. And then you go down, and I think the next room you come to is this, I call it like the medieval hall, because it's like covered in tapestries and like, you know, terrazzo floors. And have we booked what? What are they talking about?
I think they were.
In the aquarium, Chihuly. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, there is a modern, we'll have to go to the next set.
Oh, sorry. I really love this room in the bottom corner.
Oh.
With the tapestry.
So if you've heard of this museum, it's probably because they had a burglary, I think about 25 years ago. And it was from this room right here. You see this young gentleman right there? That's a Rembrandt.
Oh.
That's a Rembrandt self-portrait.
So they were after that particular.
No, so on the opposite wall were 2 other Rembrandts that they stole.
Oh.
And they have left the frames empty, but in situ from where the things were, because everything is laid out how she arranged it and how she wanted her collections to be seen. So like, you know, in a traditional museum, you wouldn't necessarily see like
Yeah, a big and a small painting right next to each other.
Right. No, like, and it would be on, plain white wall. You would have little tags or whatever, So there are guides to each room. But it's because it was her home and they wanted to leave it how her home was put together.
I love that.
It's amazing. And then you see on the right, that's the more modern part looking over at the original house. So I didn't go in the modern part at all because that's not what I went for. Because I forget who told me about it, but I was so thankful because like I spent a whole day and I still didn't see everything there was to see. Like I was looking back at my pictures and of course they were terrible because I had, 2 phones ago or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
So
You're right.
the quality is not so great, but I was taking a picture of all these little details, like the wrought iron, like going up the stairs and the.
Oh, gosh! Look at the.
There, hey, if you have any information on art theft, there is a large reward.
Over the door, is that like a full 3-dimensional?
It's a wood carving.
It's a wood carving. So is it at all flat on one side where it's kind of flush to the wall, or is it completely?
I think it's mostly 3-dimensional. It might be slightly flat just so it fits up there.
Right.
But like, oh, I mean, Joyce, I could have gone back another day, but I had other things I had to do while I was there. But if I get back to Boston, I'm doing this again. I don't care about the Freedom Trail. I want to go to this museum again. I mean, do the Freedom Trail once, but this, like, you would see something new every single time. And if your name is Isabella, you get in free.
No way.
Yeah, that was like part of her will, I believe.
That's awesome.
So that is my inspiring interior. And if you need to kill some time, just like go and like learn about her or, just look at pictures of the place because it's stunning.
I love it.
There's a huge John Singer Sargent painting down on the first floor. It takes up a whole wall of like a flamenco dancer. It's a pretty famous painting. But
Chicago is a great place for art. I do have to say that.
This is Boston.
Oh, this is Boston.
This is Boston. It's in a very like unassuming place. Like I was like, am I in the right place? This doesn't look like what I saw. And then you get inside and it's just mind-blowing.
And this building is just in between other regular buildings, like her house?
Yeah. I'm sure when they bought it, they had all the land around it. Mm-hmm. But, urban creep as it is.
Yeah.
There's
the creep. All right, guys. So I picked celluloid for my history highlight this week, and I hope I get this all correct because I didn't get to study it after I put it together. But so we're going to talk about celluloid, and I'm going to start with how it came to be. And we're starting with Mr. John W. Hyatt. And this guy was an inventor and a printer. He started inventing at a very young age. I mean, by the time he was 24, he had, I think, 2 different patents. One for a knife, an improved knife sharpener, and an improved scissor sharpener. Inventions and patents were, I think, a big thing back at this time period. And he was definitely one of those who wanted to be one of those businessmen where he created his own products and ideas. So young John Hyatt, while he was working as a printer, in 1863, he saw an ad in the newspaper by the biggest billiard ball company, and they were advertising a $10,000 prize to the first person who could create a suitable ivory substitute for the balls. And so he was quite interested, immediately came up with this recipe with shellac, ivory, and bone dust, and a fiber core, and he won. And so immediately he decides to make a patent for his little recipe, and he starts his own billiard ball company and starts making billiard balls. And in either the year after or the same year, he decides he's going to play, once you make something, he has to keep playing around. So he decides he wants to improve his recipe, and he decides to experiment with collodion, I believe is how you pronounce it. And basically collodion is a mixture of nitrocellulose. And why he decided to use collodion, there's two things. In my slides, I put it's because he saw this patent by Alexander Parks. But in my book, my celluloid book, which is interesting, it's 1999. And I got a lot of inspiration from this book coming up, like with ideas and products and stuff that were made with it. But according to the book, the old story goes that he came up with the idea of using collodion because he spilled liquid collodion on his printer's table and saw that when it hardened, instead of a sticky mess, it hardened into this like a light yellow, similar density to ivory.
Would he just have collodion lying around?
Yes, because technically, yes, because printers used to use liquid collodion on their fingers to protect from cuts and things like that. It was like a liquid protector Band-Aid almost in a way. So technically, yes, but later on when there was like a big kind of fight as to who could make this, in the courts and things like that, the courts ended up, two people who were fighting for it, he said, basically, you're both going to be able to do it because we think this guy Parks is the first person to actually use collodion as a hardened substance. So in Wikipedia, they say that they think that Hyatt somehow must have seen the London Parks patent and gotten the idea to use collodion.
I don't know.
Either way.
Some people, like 3 different people invented like calculus at the same time around the world. So
yeah. So the fun thing, the reason I wanted to bring up the whole billiard ball beginning is because his second recipe for the billiard balls that he makes, they're out in the world, he's making them, and they start to become a problem. First of all, they're smoking a lot of cigars, and collodion is highly flammable. And so they would set on fire, these balls. And also, when these balls would smack against each other on the table, because of the material, they would make such a loud bang and crack in the saloons. Everybody would be like pulling their guns out of their holsters, thinking that somebody had shot someone. They're ready for a fight. And so the saloon owners slow down. The saloon owners are like, man, these balls are causing a problem. So I thought that was pretty funny. And this picture is an actual, what is considered an explosive billiard ball. This was, I don't know how much it sold for, but someone had some, and that's an actual like 1870s explosive ball. Okay, so I thought that was kind of funny. So he's got this product, and so he decides he's going to keep experimenting. This is the kind of guy that's like, he keeps making new things and making new patents, and this improvement and that improvement. And so in 1868, he decides he really wants to make collodion, the solid collodion, more pliable, and apply it to other products, because he was making other products as well. He was working with like wood composition and making game pieces and things like that. So this is the big thing for how Celluloid came. He decides to put the collodion, the nitrocellulose, with some camphor, which is what made it plasticize, and then add the heat to solidify it, and that is celluloid, or what you could also call pyroxylin thermoplastic. And he patents it in 1869. He makes another patent in 1870, and by 1873, they start using the term celluloid and then have it trademarked by 1873. So basically, celluloid is coming from cellulose, the first word of cellulose, and then oid for like. So like cellulose. So that's where celluloid got its name, how it kind of turned into what it was. It started as an ivory substitute. And some of the really cool things that were made in the late 1800s were chess pieces, the dental like dentures and things. That was huge. And he had his hand in that too. He had a really big hand in starting to promote and market celluloid as a replacement to rubber, because they were making dentures and stuff out of rubber because it needed to be molded. So this whole thing of having a product that could be molded and then hardened was huge. Yeah. It was huge. And also they did make celluloid collars and corsets.
Was it the corset or the corset bones?
Corsets. And I picked collars, but I could show you a picture later of a really cool trade card or an advertisement. Here, let me move it over. So the collars were marketed as waterproof linen. And I love this trade card. I love this trade card just because you got this little dapper guy in his collars and cuffs made of celluloid.
I can only imagine like people got like some kind of rash.
Well, yeah,
because I bet it doesn't breathe.
Yeah, but I mean, shirtless collars were a big deal at that time anyway, for people who couldn't afford to replace their shirts often, and the collars and the cuffs were what soiled the most,
because it's what's against your skin.
Right. So the whole idea of a detachable collar that you would
that's why when you see people wearing corsets against their bare skin, that's not historically accurate.
So you would launder it and starch the collars, but this is a step beyond that, where you don't have to launder celluloid collars at all. The celluloid collar, not only would it stay prim and proper, but you didn't have to starch that baby.
Well, shirt bosoms, this is just before like that pigeon front shirt became popular. Mm-hmm. So like people put things to give themselves certain shapes, mm-hmm. like corsets, so mm-hmm. shirt bosoms were a thing. They also call them shirt waists, and mm-hmm. It's the same. It's a similar thing. It's something that you would see underneath, but you would be easy to wash.
Yeah. It's I just loved this trade card, but the ad for the corsets is instead of like waterproof linen, they call them I think it was like rust proof.
Oh, do you have that in here?
Warner's rust-proof corsets.
Okay, as someone who wore a plastic corset, in essence, for how many years? 4 years straight, 23 hours a day. I imagine this wasn't very popular.
I think the collars did pretty well.
I mean, the corset.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't do. I just picked and chose on different things. As you said, I already have too many slides.
well, like I said, Joyce, nobody wore corsets, whether it was this or any other kind of corsets. Everybody had a shift or some other thing against their skin below a corset.
I did read, and I couldn't. I read it on one of the pages that I had found, and I couldn't find it again. Sometimes that happens. But for some people, they actually did have a problem with the collars touching their skin. That sometimes there was a man where he kept getting sick and fainting and stuff, and it was because he would turn his head and the collar would
dig
press
in.
against his like artery or carotid or something. So yeah,
his collar was too tight. But yeah, even with my brace, which was plastic lined with foam, also plastic, I had to wear what we called them brace shirts, but they were like these very thin cotton things. So,
and that didn't do much to help from the actual.
Well, I mean, it saved me from chafing and sores, etc. So,
so it did work. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, which is why nobody wears a corset straight on their body. There's always something underneath of it. Historically, people nowadays, who knows what they do.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I picked a few early examples of how it went from kind of using it for faux ivory type items to also faux tortoiseshell and ebony and horn and jet and things like that. So I picked a couple. These are like the earliest examples I could find of a hair comb, a morning pin, and a hat pin. And then after this, I kind of just fast forward into the early 20th century and then talk about just some stuff that we all could collect and find at, antique stores and whatnot. So that is my like main presentation on like the history part. So now I've got pictures. Pictures. So I've got buttons. I don't know a lot about buttons, but I had to throw it in there because celluloid buttons is a great thing that someone could decide they want to collect.
And small. It won't take up a lot of space.
Exactly. When I was looking at there's books out there just on celluloid buttons. What are you laughing at? I cannot.
Oh, Leanne says I can't look at it. I imagine a corset is torture. It is not. I literally burned my brace once I had my surgery. We had a brace burning party.
Wow. Did it smell?
Well, yeah, it was plastic.
That's what I'm saying.
But I ripped the internal foam off of it and cut it into little pieces. So everybody got to throw a piece on the fire.
That's very cool. All right. So for all those
I need that box.
Detachable collars and cuffs, of course, we all can find the celluloid collar and cuff and glove boxes. They're still highly available. They don't cost an arm and a leg, but they are really fun and decorative. You can find all sorts of different kinds of examples. I mean, I've never seen a celluloid collar, but plenty of the collar boxes are still around.
I wonder if they got brittle.
Yeah, or just maybe people just like gross. Didn't save those. I don't know. So we got brooches, and I mean celluloid. I mean, by the time you got to the modern era and you're hitting the teens and the 20s, celluloid was everywhere and highly accepted. I mean, when it first started, the faux tortoiseshell, faux ivory, there might be some people that were like, oh, I don't know if I want the faux or, but by the time you got to the modern era, all of the vanity things that they would make, all of the jewelry, the whole material itself became much more accepted as like a modern material. So it wasn't like poo-pooed as, oh, that's not real. That's like ivory substitute. No, it was much more accepted and much more popular, which is why and much more readily available. I mean, it allowed the middle to lower classes to all have the things that looked like what the upper class had.
It's very pretty. I mean, there's still a lot of work in that. I mean, it has to be carved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well, I mean, it might be molded, but like the original mold has to be carved. So
mm-hmm. That's
there's
true.
some
I mean,
detail involved.
oh yeah. I mean, just yeah. I mean, there's artisanship in everything. But I thought these were fun. I really liked the morning brooch on the top. These are all things I found on Etsy.
That dog is cute.
Isn't it? I thought that was really well done. Okay, so now I got to switch. Ring boxes are another really fun celluloid collectible. These
I've never come across one.
They're a little bit pricier, but not unattainable by any means. And the first time I saw one of these blue ones up here I was at the Strawberry Festival, and I saw some.
I saw that. I think I saw that in your video.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen blue ones.
You can ask questions, but go for it.
I'm okay. Thanks, babe. Oh, so my husband loves me so much. He's telling me I'm ignoring the chat.
Oh, I've just been like, I'm trying. How do you differentiate between plastic, Bakelite, and this? Isn't celluloid a little more brittle?
I mean, it's the thinner it is, heck yeah. I mean, I have a celluloid fan.
No, Bakelite, I know if you rub it, it has a smell.
Right.
And then, I mean, plastic. I mean, you can usually tell by the age of things. Like plastic, you're looking at 60s to present day, right? And Bakelite is in between celluloid and plastic, I think.
Probably, yeah. Or alongside plastic, maybe, or I don't know. I haven't deep dive into Bakelite. Maybe that's,
I mean, Bakelite is it's an early plastic.
Right. Right. And celluloid wasn't the only one at this time. There was the one in England. I can't remember the name of it. I could probably find it in my book, but there's other thermoplastic products out there, and a lot of different companies, as soon as this came out, were using it, acquiring the permission from whoever had the patents.
Did we miss any other questions?
I don't know.
I'm trying to read, but I'm like,
I don't know. I'm just trying to get through my
There's a whole celluloid, y'all. If you want a celluloid dresser set, there's one at the flea market I go to. Still has its original box. It's got everything in it. Like,
yeah,
you let me know. I'll get it for you. But it's a big box, like a big box with like everything in it.
I think they're fun because, especially when you get to ones that are still 100 years old, they're not that expensive. The ring boxes here can get a little upwards in more of the range of like 50 to 75, depending, like maybe for some of them. But I would say they're in the 50 range. But they're super cute. A lot of Art Deco examples on the ring boxes. And then I put in toys. You could have so many different kinds of toy celluloid collections, if you wanted just animals or just one particular animal or dolls or actual toys. The toys at the top are German, which I thought were awesome.
Do they like roll around?
Yeah.
Like Weebles?
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think, well, Bakelite, I know celluloid can get fragile if it has been like exposed to heat, I think.
I think it has to do with how dense it is. So like the thinner items, like the dolls are very fragile. You can, if you've ever,
like in some of those like hair receiver covers, like you can get like splits in those.
Yeah, like the dolls will get like easily dented and then cracked.
As
like
for
I said,
Bakelite, I'm not certain.
but some of them are a lot denser and can hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still come across plenty of celluloid vanity sets or vanity pieces that are in fantastic shape. You know, and a lot of people, you know, really cared for their items back then. So you still can.
I just sold a celluloid one.
Mhm.
Not just. It was in one of my first sales. I sold a celluloid set. It was in really good shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like these animals probably are probably more delicate.
Yeah, like the antlers on those
Mhm,
deer.
definitely. Shoe clips and belt buckles, guys.
I want that.
These are so fun. And like this little clip, the faux ivory colored one here at the
Oh,
top, at the little, just a little tiny deco example, that's on Etsy for $9. They're not expensive, but you could have so much fun.
what about the one at the bottom?
I don't remember that one. But
It's probably the most expensive one.
it's probably the most expensive. Plus, it's also the
Celluloid
biggest. It's like the biggest buckle that's on this page. But you know, just the fact that you can get Art Deco celluloid buckles for $9, you could start collecting a few and just have like a really fun deco collection that doesn't.
Yeah, and shoe clips, you can use those like if you wear anything collared, you can clip them on like the points of your collar and wear them. Like you don't have to put them on your shoes. You can use them for all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. There's a lot of fun things you could decide to get excited and interested in, and something where there's a chance that you might see it while you're out and about at a store or a mall. And then I think this is the last.
Well made. What did I miss? Buck, you're not pushy. Just we get sucked into stuff, and then
we do get sucked in.
Like if you're asking a question and you're missing it, feel free to like caps lock us, okay?
So the letter openers and page turners, I have never come across one of these actually that I have noticed, but now I know they exist. So now I might
keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, or I might actually notice it. Like I might think it's just a cocktail stir or something. I don't know. I don't know if I would even know, or if it was upside down, I might think that the one on top is a button hook holder or something. I just might not know what it is. But these are a little rarer and harder to find. So
I'm sure the price reflects.
Yeah, these are a little pricier, especially this one on the bottom with they called it a mermaid down there at the bottom on the.
But she's winged.
I know, winged. But I thought those were fun. And there's so many other things that I didn't get to show, like stuff in the book. There's
a whole book?
Pardon?
You got a whole book?
I got a whole book. Like there's purses. There's the fans. There's shoe horns. Celluloid was everywhere. Pretty much plastic is everywhere.
You would literally use it to turn the page in your book.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was for.
Which seems like a super bougie thing to have. Your fingers aren't good enough? I
don't know.
I don't understand how they work.
I don't know if it had to do with maybe to avoid getting printing on your fingers.
Possibly. Weebles wobbles, but they don't fall down. Oh, I was thinking that in my head.
I never had Weebles. I had a friend. I remember every time I'd go over to her house, I'd want to play. She had that Weeble tree. It was like a tree house. I was so jealous of her and her Weeble tree house. So that is the end. That's the end of my celluloid presentation. folks. Yeah.
I do have a quote that I had forgot to upload, so it's now uploaded.
Okay. I am adding it. There we go.
Book collecting is an obsession, an occupation, a disease, an addiction, a fascination, an absurdity, a fate. It is not a hobby. Those who do it must do it.
You find some of the best quotes. An absurdity.
Which I find to be true.
Fate.
Even though I have, I'm more of an audiobook person now just because of my time and brain limitations. Like, I can't help but like pick up books. I do too, Peg, but all of my letter openers, I need to put one by my front door so I use it. Because I hate that jagged thing when you use your finger to open a letter. I was reading Leanne's thing and I was like, oh, library. I was too, but then I lost most of my books in a flood, and
It is an excellent quote. I agree, Sheila. A fate.
I just love it. It's a fate.
It's a fate. I love that.
So when somebody complains about your book hoard, screenshot this and be like, I had no choice. I was fated to collect books.
Yep.
Fate.
Yes.
I think Sheila and I talked about this on like our to be read pile. It's like life insurance, right? The bigger the to be read pile, the safer you are from dying.
Oh. Because you're going to wait until the pile is complete?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you have too many books to read. Nothing can happen to you.
Yeah, I feel fated to pick up etched silver plate. It is my duty. It is my duty.
Silver plate.
It is my duty to get all of the quadruplate that I can afford.
Yeah. The chat empties as we dashed Etsy. Yeah, I mean, Etsy is dangerous. So I was very good this week as far as live sales go.
You resisted. You resisted temptation.
But then I made the mistake of going on eBay.
Oh dear.
To look at something. I'll have to show you what I got.
Do you have it, or is it not arrived?
I can go grab it.
Is this the other piece of dragon?
No, it's not here yet. It just cleared customs.
Can't wait for that.
So that was last week. Let me go get it.
Okay. What could it be? What do you guys think it is? Here, let me go back to... What did she buy now, you guys? Is it a book? Is it glowy glass?
It's not glowy.
But it's glass?
It's not glass.
Oh. Joy says it's fuzzy.
It's not fuzzy.
Is it smooth?
It is fabric.
It's smooth fabric?
It's fabric.
Okay.
It's probably not smooth. It has texture. Oh,
is it cat related? Leanne wants to know.
No. Not cat related. It's fancy lady related.
Do we want to keep playing 20 questions, or are you gonna reveal?
I gotta make sure it's turned the right way. So you know what's hanging in my bedroom, right?
I do. The fancy lady wall. Oh, the tapestry! You've got another one, and it has a crescent moon,
just like my other one. This is like a continuation of the scene, except this is very thin. Mine is more plush, so I think mine is older. Okay. No, it's a tapestry. There's Okay. Can you see all of it?
Yes. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Venetian scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You like? You got it on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh,
my
did?
dad and I went to a very sketchy place. Pick it up.
To pick it up.
He's
Wow,
like, I'm
the
glad
things
you
we
didn't come by
do.
yourself. I was like, yeah, me too. I couldn't lift it. So
Wow.
yeah, so mine is a more plush. I think it's older, but I learned that this is Belgian, both my original and this one. So if you look at Belgian tapestries, you'll find all kinds of designs, but of course I love the Venetian one since it matched the one I have already. And so now I have to find a place. But so
Might
we
say
talk
your
about-
tapestry or her pillow cover.
oh no.
I don't know. That's sad when you
I can
when you
put that
pull
on a
something
big
out and you
ornament.
realize it's been destroyed.
So yeah, that's my favorite thing for the week. I don't know a definitive way to. Now, I mean, the age of it will help you. But like anytime I tap celluloid, it's got a very like clicky sound,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But
Plus, I think if you get familiar with the kind of pieces that were made,
yeah, I would
celluloid,
go to an antique store that has people who research and mark their stuff and just pick it up and touch it. And you know, like if something is marked celluloid, just pick it up, touch it. Like knowing the Bakelite smell will help you too, but it's not pleasant. So
yeah, I've always, picked up things and tried to smell it, but I've never been able to pick up the Bakelite smell. But I'm assuming that's just because it's plastic and I've never actually smelled Bakelite.
yeah, I had a purse with a Bakelite handle, but I was like, I'm not rubbing it. I don't want to know. I don't know what it smells like.
Yeah, I would think that jewelry for me would be the hardest.
Yeah, Bakelite is
To-
usually thicker, and it's used more for like handles and
Knobs
like
on
that.
the radios.
Things like that. More utilitarian things because it was sturdier, so it could take the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's celluloid like handled kitchen utensils, for example. Yeah,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know about kitchen.
when it's thin, it can be very brittle. Like on those vanity hair receivers, like you'll see a lot of chipped ones, just because it got so much abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think there's some things there's some celluloid things that are thicker. Like the handles on the mirrors. They're usually, they're denser, they're thick. They're not, like a hollow trinket box. The handle has weight to it. So, and it feels like plastic in my opinion. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
If we're looking at the design of it and the color and the age, really.
I found outside of like the tortoiseshell and the black, like the plain colors, there's usually some kind of, it looks like texture in the celluloid.
Oh, like line, like
yeah,
a line pattern.
Yeah,
I've seen that too. I actually like that.
Or it looks marbly.
Oh yeah, like the tortoiseshell.
I understand, Jan. Malcolm is right here demanding pets.
Yeah. Like I brought some little hair combs that have the faux tortoiseshell, and it's they found a way to make it with kind of a marbly look in there.
Well, anybody have any other questions for us?
Oh, bye, Jan. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks, Leanne. Yeah, these are fun. I mean, when I can come across something really cool at an estate sale, I get so excited because usually I only see these at the antique malls.
Yeah. Oh my God. Here.
Oh, are you going to share Kitty with us?
He's demanding attention, so.
Malcolm. Oh, baby.
Well,
Oh,
thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
oh, he's
And
so
being
cute.
involved. He's not a baby. He's an old man.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
officially 15.
Oh, he has a good 5 years. Maybe more. Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out with us. It's always a joy. I really do appreciate everyone who comes and says hello, stays for the hour, shares their tidbits and questions and photos. Please send me some photos.
Well, yeah, and anytime you know, if there's something you want us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Time to say adieu. Adieu, all. Good night.
See you next week.
Bye. Oh, wait.